progress.
Good evening, I'd like to call the August 5th Town Board meeting to order. Please, everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. First up, we have the public hearing regarding the acquisition of certain property located within the town of Fallsburg. This is the Clancy property right next door to the South Fallsburg wastewater treatment plant. We're gonna have to adjourn this public hearing. We're looking to do it to the 26th simply because we're waiting on a survey. And we cannot move forward without the survey. So if that's the case, I entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing until August 26th.
Motion.
I have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, so next up, so I just want to read a statement. I know there are a lot of really concerned citizens that are here to speak to us tonight. I'm saying very important issues, specifically with Rose Road. The town of Fallsburg has received a number of calls and letters regarding the premises located at 63-73 Rose Road, owned by Mostas Nachlas Sviv Kula, successor in interest to the previous owner, which was YNHK LLC. Summarized, the complaints pertain to the prior litigation, owner's failure to comply, enforcement, and occupancy this season without certificates of occupancy, ongoing work without permits, and farming. The premises has been the subject of litigation in Sullivan County Supreme Court, a trial court in the town of Fallsburg versus YNHK LLC, index number E2023-1040, and in the town of Fallsburg Justice Court. The owner of the premises was subject to a significant fine in the Justice Court and in the Supreme Court admitted wrongdoing and agreed not to reoccupy the premises except as set forth in the stipulation and order. The board understands that the public is angry and that the owner has flouted local laws by building prior to obtaining approvals. For this, the Justice Court imposed a maximum fine of nearly $50,000 for the violations, and the Supreme Court stipulation and order is in effect and enforceable and binds the new owner. The board, through its building department, has inspected the premises, is reviewing reports, and recently issued violations to determine next steps in litigation. As this is a continuation of ongoing litigation and the building department report and violations are still being analyzed, I will not go into any particular details as to where they are in their work. However, the board is pursuing enforcement of the stipulation and order and is focused on the health and safety issues raised by the members of the public. That's really all I can speak to at this point in the junction. Things don't move very quick in government. Everyone has a due process, and there's a process that we have to follow. That said, we do have some concerns, and we are addressing it through our code enforcement office. I would also like to mention that tonight is National Night Out going on right now at Krieger Park. As soon as we're done here, many of us are going to go over there. It's an amazing event that combines the community and our law enforcement agencies and first responders. And I highly recommend that everybody attend the event as soon as we're done here tonight. See, do we have any correspondence? No? All right, so I'd like to move on to public comments. All I want to say is that public comment is just that. It's comment. It's not designed to be a question and answer session. If you do have questions for the board that pertains to anything on our agenda tonight, please ask your questions, and we're going to write them down, and then when I get to the agenda item, I will try to address your questions. If you have any questions about something that's not on the agenda tonight, you can still ask your questions, leave your phone number or your contact information with us, and then we will make our best effort to try to get you the information and get back to you. Regardless, it's gonna be a 3-minute, by resolution, it's a 3-minute limit to every person that wants to speak. Ultimately, public comment is about us trying to listen to your concerns, to try to internalize what your concerns are, your recommendations may be, and it will give us something to deliberate outside of this meeting and internally as the week goes on. So with that said, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Pam Wagner.
Jen, do me a favor, don't time me yet until I give out these papers, please.
You're out. I'm not gonna run through this.
You can give us the paper afterwards.
No, I think it's important that everybody has this in front of them. Tell me when we're ready. You're going, yes. Good evening. My name is Pam Wagner. I'm here tonight about the property at 63 and 73 Rose Road, owned by YNHK LLC. This property was the subject of a lawsuit brought by the town due to serious code violations which led to a court-ordered stipulation signed on May 22nd, 2024. Here's what the property owner agreed to in the settlement. Cease all construction and occupancy unless and until all required permits, approvals, and certificates of occupancy were obtained. Vacate the property immediately, apply for approvals, and allow a code inspection within 45 days by July 6, 2024, pay a fine of $48,500. Over a year later, almost none of this has happened. There is no record of final approvals or permits issued. No inspection took place by the July 6th deadline, not even close. The first inspection was July 25th, only after repeated complaints and a FOIL request. That inspection resulted in multiple violations, including that the property is still occupied without certificates of occupancy. The property owner was ordered to appear before the planning board and comply by August 8, 2025. However, the next planning board meeting is August 14th, 6 days after the compliance deadline. The property is not even on the agenda. So unless a miracle happens in the next few days, this compliance deadline will not be met. The violation notice states fines of up to $1,500 per day of non-compliance. Will the town begin fining them for the missed deadline and every day that follows? The stipulation was not a pretty please suggestion. It was a court order signed by a New York State Supreme Court judge. The town board, code enforcement, and planning board all have a duty and obligation to uphold it, not ignore it. So I ask, why did code enforcement and town board fail to enforce the stipulation despite multiple notifications? Why is it that the planning board is still reviewing this project when the owner remains in clear violation of a court settlement? This is about trust in government. If developers aren't held accountable, the residents lose faith, and when court orders are ignored, the rule of law erodes. The public is watching, and we expect action, not excuses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ben.
James Legari.
Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, board members. I should start by saying good evening because it's a real nice day outside. Some of you know my wife. We lived in the community now for a good number of years. And she has followed the actions of this board, the previous boards, going back to when I was on the committee for the last comprehensive plan. And obviously, there's been a lot of, as you were saying, Mr. Supervisor, a lot of talk that's been going on. One of the things that she does is that every time you guys get your picture in the paper on the front page of the local Democrat, regardless of what the issue is, she has it in a scrapbook, so she really has some record. what she would like to know, because I'm asking on her behalf, and really to get some clarity regarding the Townsburg Board's current position on permitting requirements. It's common knowledge that some communities are allowed to begin developing and building without obtaining permits. You know, we saw that in the past at Scott's. It's not anything that this town hasn't faced before. That particular one, they built the whole building before anything happened. Anyway, based on the way we're doing things, what she'd like to confirm, if it's possible, if she does decide she wants to build a she shed, I'm not in favor of that, but that's what she wants to do. And she wants to build a she shed, and what she'd like to know is what happens if she doesn't get a permit? Can she just build a she shed, however she wants it? Then you'd have somebody sooner or later come out and inspect it and approve it, maybe, hopefully if it was done right. And as you've been doing with other developments, you just sign it off, and maybe you get a fine. Or is this board planning to selectively enforce the permitting process, thereby treating all groups, religious and non-religious groups, differently? Or are you simply going to begin looking at what you're supposed to be doing, and that's having your code enforcement people do what's necessary when it comes to any of these issues that are brought before you, and not wait like weeks before anything happens? I want to read you the definition of unintended circumstances. Unintended circumstances refer to the outcome of an action or decision that were not foreseen or intended by the group taking the action. I read that for you because I think you're going to be faced with a lot of what we would call by this definition unintended circumstances. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Mary Adams for Rose Road.
Good evening. Thank you all for listening. So, you've heard the background of Rose Road. We all know that we went to the court and the decision and the fine. And so we're all pretty aware of the whole situation. I think for me, I know, for instance, of a young family who built a barn they didn't do it intentionally, but they did it without a permit. And they had to take it down. They were young, they were not wealthy, it cost them a lot of money. And they did it because they wanted to be in compliance. And so I just want to know, this is the law. When you build something without a permit, you have to take it down. And it happens, it has happened to numerous people. I know somebody who built an 8-foot fence, cost them a fortune. They had to take it down because it wasn't legal. It had to be 6 and they didn't get a permit. This is what runs our town. So, along with everyone else, we just want the law enforced. It sounds like you're working on it, but we have to follow the laws. All of us. We all do that. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mary.
Stan Wagner.
Good evening. Tonight I'm addressing the town board regarding a matter that speaks directly to the integrity of our local government and its responsibility to uphold the law. On May 22nd, 2024, the Sullivan County Supreme Court issued a stipulation and order in the case of Town of Fallsburg versus YNHK LLC concerning the properties at 6373 Rose Road. This was not a handshake deal or an informal agreement. It was a legally binding court order signed by a Supreme Court justice and entered into the public record. The order states the facts clearly. The property owner admitted to altering and occupying buildings without permits or approvals. The court prohibited any use of occupancy of the property until all required governmental approvals, inspections, and certificates of occupancy were obtained. The owner was required to apply for approvals and allow an inspection within 45 days by July 6, 2024. A maximum fine of $48,500 was set to be determined in town court. It clearly stated that the town would retain enforcement authority and that the court would retain jurisdiction. Let me repeat that. Town of Fallsburg, since the property is occupied, The required inspection was not completed by the deadline. In fact, it took place more than a year later, on July 25th, 2025, and only after intense public pressure, no permits or approvals have been finalized. This town board has not enforced the court order. In fact, it has enabled its violation. Despite the ongoing non-compliance, the planning board allowed this property on multiple agendas, effectively giving the developer a platform to move forward while openly defying a Supreme Court order. This was not a procedural error, it was a choice, and it sends a message. Certain people are above the law. Let's be honest, this town board is complicit. You are a party to the lawsuit, your legal team signed the stipulation, you knew the deadlines, you knew the obligations, and yet you stood by allowing violations to continue. This is not just bad governance, it's a collapse of public accountability. Silence in the face of these blatant violations is not neutrality, it's an endorsement. So I ask the town board these questions. Why has this court order gone unenforced? Why is illegal occupancy still allowed? Why is the planning board reviewing a project that should be suspended by a court mandate? This is about more than just one property. This is about whether our local government has the integrity to uphold the law or to look the other way. The public is watching and we expect action, not excuses. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan.
Ocean Gillis. Ocean.
Yes. It's like, could we do anything about it? Is anything being done about it? There's so many accidents there, and we have to cross that street every day. It's scary. They pay no attention. They do whatever they want.
This is by Mount Cliff, it's before Mount Cliff Road, it's by where the golf course is. Yeah.
We can't call, we can't make a
It's Pleasant Valley Road.
Valley and Berkeley.
We can't
Yeah.
make any suggestion or please help. Could we? Because, I mean, I think a lot of people are losing their life. It's become like
We can ask the county to do a traffic study.
You would
maybe?
have to call the county.
the county.
The county,
Okay.
yes, okay, good.
Good, we will do that.
Thank you.
Alice Camara.
Thank you, Ocean.
You are welcome.
I want to address the road.
Go ahead.
I'd like to address the road issue. It seems like the fine was imposed and it was paid, like it was chump change, I guess. I'm thinking the next step might be to have the building dismantled, as somebody else mentioned. It's been done before, and this is like blatant, in your face, breaking rules. And probably maybe the possibility is having the owners arrested. They're breaking the law.
Right.
They don't give a damn about our rules and
That's right.
regulations. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Alex.
Jerry Skoda.
Good evening, town board members. I'm Jerry Skoda. I have a farm on Cypress Road and I also farm on Rose Road bordering this Rose Road property that you've been looking at. And I want to read to you a couple of quotes out of the court order because I think they're so important. In addition to, everybody talks about the fine, but in addition, it prohibited any further use or occupancy of the property until the defendant applies for and obtains the required site plan approval, building permits, and certificates of occupancy. It also ordered that all occupants vacate the property, prohibiting use and occupancy of the property until the defendants apply for and obtain the adequate approvals. They agreed not to reoccupy or use the property or any portion thereof for any use without having first applied for and received all required government approvals. And I did foil the departments, and there has been no application for any permits of any kind of building or occupancy. Next, this was in April the 7th of 2025. They appeared before the planning board, and they proposed a religious education facility, which is not even permitted in the ag zone. They have not appeared back to the planning board since that date, but I'll read a couple of quotes here from their attorney. Steve Barshoff said, "All I know is that when I heard that they had done this illegally, I told them that they can absolutely not operate, and they had to come before the board to get approval." He also said, "I will say, Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether things were done in accordance to code. What I can say is this: certainly at the end of the day, if the board is going to issue an approval, it's appropriate to condition it on, it has to comply with the code, and it has to be done properly." So this is, basically their attorney speaking. Like I said, I farm right next door, so I sort of have an idea of what's going on there. But basically, there are families there, there's lots of children there, and there's a lot of problems associated with that make it a health and safety hazard for those children. And so you need to be concerned about that. I've got another page here that I need to find. Anyhow,
Thank you, Jerry.
this is, I'm done. Okay, contempt of court is what's going on.
Who do we have next?
Mary Adams for Bud Road. Jerry.
Third, I'll get it to you.
Hello again. So I'm here to speak about the disruptive noise and lighting up on Todd Road and Bud Road. So at this moment, there have been quite a few complaints that have been called in because there's a baseball field on Todd Road that has been built. I don't know if one needs a permit for such a thing, but it creates a tremendous amount of noise and light problems, and it goes from Todd Road, if you've been up there, all the way over to Bud Road. You can feel the noise of the game in the ground. It's so loud, and it goes from 10 until 4 a.m. The yoga ranch up there, the farmers, people have lived up there for generations. They cannot sleep. And it is already August, so that it's ruined their summer. So, and the yoga ranch, that's how they make their money. And the people are coming, they can't sleep. So it has to stop. And there's a noise ordinance, as we know. Steve Barshoff represented the old Raleigh Hotel, HCS, recently in the planning board. It's 65 decibels. Sound of a washing machine. That's the level of sound allowed, especially at night. That was even at day, but this is at night. So they must stop the baseball game by 10, just like all of us would. If you had a bonsai game or whatever it is we play, you can't play it after 10 o'clock in your neighborhood. It keeps everyone awake. So there's the noise level, and then there's the light. So I took pictures of it, and I'll give you this. This is light. I thought this was sunrise. A friend sent this to me, and I went, "Oh, that's so pretty, thanks." They said, "No, that is the light from the baseball field at 4 a.m. So it goes from 10 till 4. So if it was you and you were living next to them, what would you do? So we have to, the code enforcement has the power to go turn those lights down so they face the ground and they follow the code. I've got copies of the lighting code. It should be dark sky compliant. So I would like to request that the building department goes up and turns the light down And secondly, I would like the building and the police department, because they're empowered with the noise ordinance, to go and do a sound monitoring up there at 10 noise level is, and enforce no more noise. And I'd really like this not to be ignored or, oh, we didn't hear about it and then all of a sudden it's Labor Day and everybody's gone. No, it has to happen now. There's 3 more weeks, people have it actually rest their summer. That would be peaceful. And if you haven't been up there, because I hadn't been up there until I heard about it, that is the most exquisite Catskill serenity I have ever seen. They have a 180-degree view. It is stunning. And it is being ruined. So, please, thank you so much.
Anyone else?
You get up and talk to them about what they're doing to you. Talk to them. Here, again.
Hold on, you have to take your turn.
Okay.
He's up next, you can sign up after him. Come on up here if you're gonna do that. Yours, Rick.
Ready? Yeah.
Go back to your seat, please.
My name is Alex Portugal, for those that don't know me, I live up here all year round.
Speak up.
Can't hear you.
It's
My name is Alex Portugal, I live up here all year round. I am active in the community and I want to first of all thank all the public servants and the board for all you do. I see so many people over here. I see over here a peaceful town, and at one point it's going to be harmony and peace over here. If there's anything I could do to bridge this gap and people should understand each other, I'm happy to do so. If people don't want to have peace, if they don't want to have harmony and so on, I am not the one that is going to be able to be helpful to them. If the town wants to, has an idea or anything that we could do to have some harmony over here, I wish to do so. I want to finish with, from those that do want peace but have hate, it goes together. I don't know how to manner it. Sound, I just figured out how to manner it. And speed, there's ways to manner. Heat, I don't have the temperature mode to help to manner that. So if someone has a way to cool it down and know what temperature and what number is permitted and what makes sense, they could have, let me know as well. Thank you.
Florence Gillis.
Hi. I think everybody knows me and my son. Ocean is autistic, and he's being called named, and he's reacting to what's going on with us and in our house. He punched my car. I had to take him to the hospital a couple of times. I heard the gentleman when he says, like, we're looking for peace. I'm not a loud person. I don't play loud music. I'm just trying to take care of my son. But yet, while I'm taking care of my son, I'm being harassed every single day, including in the bathroom. I mean, what kind of peace am I getting in the bathroom? I'm at the library. I am so upset. I am standing in front of the police station and I am being harassed. In front of the police station, what respect do we have for each other or for anybody if you cannot respect the police? I'm at the library, in the bathroom, at home, talking about my private part. Nothing is being done, nothing. But yet I pay my taxes, I pay my mortgage every month, I try to take care of my son. He's crying, he's depressed, he's sad. I am not leaving my property for anybody. I didn't know anybody when I moved up here. I moved up here because I wanted a place where Ocean could feel safe. What safety does he have?
He can't walk into his own driveway. His driveway, they're calling him a stupid asshole, an innocent person. Now, we need to do something about it. I think the police needs to respect. I cannot be in front of the police station and I'm being harassed. In front of the police station. I'm at the government center. 5 chief of police, chief deputy, walking around, but yet I'm being harassed.
Calling both of us, oh, we're stupid assholes.
What
we're
kind of
stupid,
country are we in?
we're
Where's our
stupid-
freedom?
we're-
Where's our liberty?
We're
What's
stupid
that?
hoodlums. The day of my birthday, they're calling me a scumbag. The neighbors.
Next door neighbor, leave our property. But what I'm so upset about it, what they say to Ocean, but our security, we don't have any, forget about security. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We don't have any. We're being harassed in front of the police station, so what's that? Inside the government center, what's that? Inside the bathroom. That's all I have to say. Please, what does it take? I know it's cyber, it's security.
Do we have someone else signed up?
You do. You weren't gonna until I heard.
Hold on. Hold on, for what?
To be more specific, I was coming up here to sign. Okay? So I just want to acknowledge my wonderful community who came out here and who has been educating me.
Ma'am, can you just?
My name is Sandra Oxford. I live at 330 Main Street in Hurleyville. I birthed a child here in the town of Fallsburg, gave birth here, raised my children here. Regrettably, this is a bedroom community for me because of the very high taxes that we all pay, right? We are all saddled with this incredible, inordinate amount of taxes, similar to what my family's paid down on Long Island. But I heard this gentleman talk, I don't know, did he leave? Where's the peacemaker? Did he go? Is he still outside? Bring him in. Bring him in. He should hear this. You know, because this is not, none of this is about the difference of people's faith, of people's ethnicity. It has nothing to do with that. This is about respect of the law, right? Because I am a lawful person, and I respect the law. As a homeowner, when I had to do my roof, I had to respect the law and I had to come here and get a permit to do that. You know, it's over 30 years that I've been here trying to keep my ship afloat without anybody drilling holes in my boat. So I have raised 2 incredibly extraordinary, wonderful young men in this community who went through the school district who are contributors. They are contributors and I'm very proud of them, and they are better welcomed in most circles than I am because I come off a little bit caustic and abrasive, but that's okay because I respect the law. Even though I want to challenge it and speak out against it, but I respect the law. So when I'm going to do something to my property, I have respect for that. I know that sometimes people expect less of me, and they may treat me a different way because of this, or because of my language, or because of my ethnicity. However, in this community, which is very rich and diverse, we are not here against people who are different, of a different religion, that has nothing to do. We respect the law, and we want lawful, and my neighbors, I left New York City because I did not want to live in an apartment. We live here because we want to keep it rural. We like the rural nature of our community, and I hope that you enjoy being able to raise your kids in this green, lush area. Okay, so this has nothing to do with peace or disrespect of somebody's culture or their religion or their faith, because that is incorrect. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Who else will sign up?
Mr. Stein?
I would like to talk about this Rose Road property. First of all, I would like to welcome the board, and I want to bring out a little bit. I want to bring out and express my information that I have about it. First of all, I grew up over here in upstate. I grew up in like Sheldrick. Then I continued on in Kamisha, and I have a lot of experience in processing. I work actually in a processing plant. I have halachic experiences and halachic knowledge that I'm giving over to the kids. It's actually not kids, to the adults that are out there. And they mentioned that there's some families, yes, my kids are out there. I don't live myself. I'm a married family, and I have quite a few kids. I did not marry them off yet, so meanwhile, they get with me till I get them married. I'm out there to give over my information to the next generation. I want them to know farming, know animal anatomy, know how it requires in halachic and legal, and all the knowledge you need to know. The boys are busy, as we call them cowboys, but I guess it might be a little bit of a stretch, but we're teaching them how to raise the cows, how to feed them, how to milk them. We're in touch with different farmers. We're giving them all information possible. We took them down to processing plants, to different places. We want them to understand exactly whatever information we have and give it to the next generation. Yes, we did impose that we want to do educational, religious educational project over here, but it's the same thing as farming, because we're doing a farming project. We learned in the school that down in the city, we had them go through classes in Sechtes Chilm, which is the tractate of all the halachic requirements in Shechita, and it means all the animal requirements. Us as Jewish people, we can't eat everything. We have to know exactly what's going on. There's a process here of the animals, how we have halacha about tzar balachai, means taking care of the animals should be healthy and be in a safe condition. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have to continue next time.
Is it Christine Holland?
Christine Collette, sorry.
What's the last name?
K-O-L-L-E-T. Sorry, my handwriting sucks.
Okay, Christine Collette.
Hi, I'm relatively new here. I've been here since about 2019. And I've been kind of stuck in my house for a few years with COVID and everything. I just wanted to kind of get to know what was going on in town. But I hear a lot of what's going on, and I've been hearing a lot about development issues and things in town, and I just wanted to share my personal experience. My first experience with the town was a code enforcement officer stopping in front of my house, screaming at me and my husband because we didn't understand that we couldn't have a Connex container. And we were misinformed. My husband had talked to the wrong person and gotten the wrong information. Once we found out we were in violation, we did all the things we were supposed to do. I got a variance from the town. I had to mail every one of my neighbors. We did everything we had to within the rules to just do what we had to do to be a good part of the community. When we found out what the rule was, we worked to obey the rule, and we got rid of the Connex in the time we were supposed to. but this cost us money we didn't have, and was a lot of stress and honestly trauma when your first interaction with the town is getting screamed at by somebody in authority. And I hear a lot of things about development happening and people skirting rules and rules not being enforced. And I wasn't gonna say anything today, but it really makes me feel like if rules get enforced for an individual who, has no resources to fight rules or anything, then they shouldn't be enforced for everybody. If we're gonna be a community, everybody has to follow the rules. And I just wanted to show my face here because clearly rules do get enforced sometimes. And enforcing rules is not a matter of religion, it's a matter of everybody has to follow the rules. So that's all I wanted to say. This is really bad.
Thank you.
Speak tonight.
Hello, my name is Kelly Corton. I farm down on Gray Road. Just kind of wanted to address the agricultural aspect of this conversation. Jerry spoke about it, but it seems that this is in an agricultural zone, and there are, above the law that everyone is already discussing, there are certain qualifications and standards in an agricultural zone that need to be adhered to. And generally we can understand this because land is irreplaceable. We're not building more Barbara Loam that I get to farm. We're not able to undevelop river alluvial flooded outwash. So the importance of having a timeline and the sensitivity and the enforcement of this is because you can already see that it's getting exacerbated. And if you allow building in agricultural zones that are not permitted and that are not in keeping with agricultural practices, this is degrading the agricultural community in this county. And it obviously has historic importance. I think everyone can speak of the dairy industry that used to be very prominent in this area. And when you remove the land that we can grow on and that we can raise animals on, you're lost. You have nothing. You don't get to replace it. It's not that you can build it again. It's not that you can replicate it. You don't have another resource. And so I just want to speak to the inherent importance of ag zones and their specialty that they serve this region, because without it, we are not going to have the legacy in that way, and you're not going to have the same resources in that way in this community. So I just want to impart the importance of looking into the ag zone, looking into the ag law, and understanding the sensitivity of the environmental aspect of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to sign up? Is there anybody online?
Hi, my name is Yehuda Lothar. I live over here in the town of Woodburn. I live all year round. My job is I am taking care of a colony of over 70 people. We do cows, we have over 100 cows over there. We feed them, wherever the rest. Then we do cutting wood to custom made. A meeting. I said I have to come down to show myself over here. What happened is I want to give out, it's nothing about the law. It's someone asked me to be anonymous. They go down and mention that. There was a word spread around that block. I've never been a Jew there. We're never gonna allow it. Sorry, I have to say it. I don't feel comfortable to say it, but I said I have to bring up the public. There was one of my friends told me, go down and say these words. So this is my ear. That's what I'm here for. And I've been there a few times. I saw the way they're dealing with the cows. Everything is legal, everything is fine. Hope they should continue following the laws. But again, I already gave up my point. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak before we close public comments? Anyone online?
Anyone online like to speak?
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and close the public portion of our meeting. And we're gonna move on to our agenda items for tonight. So, number one, motion to approve town board minutes dated 7/22/25.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Aye, motion passes. Number two, motion to approve a 50-cent pay increase for Ira Robinson, part-time seasonal labor.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. To be clear, it's what these things are.
Yes, yes.
Or no, just, it doesn't say it.
Number three, motion to approve a 75 cents per hour pay increase for Caitlin Ingracia, part-time seasonal labor.
Motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number four, motion to approve promotion of Brandon Amoya to the position of operator trainee with an hourly pay of $27.51, effective 7/14/25.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And motion passes. Number five, motion to award bid for wastewater sludge removal to Tom Enterprises Incorporated at $193 per ton.
Motion.
I
Second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number six, so this is a resolution authorizing a settlement. We had litigation regarding a demolition of a property. And we were in litigation for a while, primarily headed by our insurance carrier. So our insurance carrier came back to us with a recommendation for a settlement. The board has considered it, and we're looking to approve the settlement tonight. So number six, resolution number 65 of 2025, authorizing settlement of litigation of Breezy Hill Associates LLC versus the town of Fallsburg, Sullivan County Supreme Court, index number E 2023-1944.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
You're out of
passes.
time. We're done.
That's it for our agenda items for tonight. I will entertain a motion to adjourn, go into executive session.
Motion, Jerry.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out of their days to come out tonight and speak to us. And with that, we're adjourned.